Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Lights Too Bright podcast. Um, for those of you who are here who haven't done so already, please do like, share, and follow. Be much appreciated. Today, I have a colleague, I have a friend, another Northamptonian who I've actually recorded this podcast before, but we tried something new and the tech didn't work. So we ended up having a nice walk and talk as we wandered around the racecourse in Northampton. So he's back. He's doing me another favor. He's taking another bit of time out of his busy schedule to share his journey and what he's up to now and how he's got here. So it is my great pleasure to introduce you all to my friend, my colleague, Mr. Piyus Tanna. Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah, good. Excited to be here. I think that was just an excuse to actually see me again. We're like, scrap this one, come and see me again.
Yeah, possibly. It's weird. We only live, what, 20 minutes away from each other.
Yeah, yeah,
But we tend to run into each other more at conferences and and work events than we do outside of work, which is, I mean, it's strange, but it's
yeah,
just life, right? Everyone's got kids and families. You, particularly now, are traveling all over with your role. And yeah, busy. And if you're not traveling for work, you and Sheena seem to be on holiday with the kids, seeing the world. So yeah, it's hard to find time. So I do appreciate you finding 30 minutes for me again um, to go through this. So Piyush, I've known you for about a decade now. I'd say maybe slightly. Actually, it'll be longer than a decade, right? We were both supervising third year students at City University when our paths first crossed. And then I ended up in Northampton,
yeah.
weirdly enough.
You heard that's what I did, and you couldn't stay away, as we
Yeah,
said.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, you
that's
impressed
it.
me.
That's it. What do you do now, dude? What is your current role, current position? Um,
So the day job is I work for Mennicon as professional services manager, and I look after UK, Ireland, and Nordics. So I absolutely love the company, I love the ethos. I was in practice for a long time, so it is a bit of a step change working in the industry. But I think it had to be the right company and the right projects. So completely aligns with all of my values. I still do a little bit still in practice. So I work um, like half to 1 day a week in Vision Express. I support you with some of the BCLA stuff. I do a little bit of work for the GOC. I'm a co-founder in Inspiring Success. So we deliver lots of wellbeing workshops internationally now. And as part of that, we've recently launched um, our app. So wellbeing app for specifically for eye care professionals.
okay, so well, that's a lot to process. I feel tired just listening to that. But I knew all of that, and that's why you're here to help share your journey and um, just potentially show people what's obtainable, what's achievable within the industry. Um, Not necessarily having to be within a practice within a consulting room.
Absolutely.
And for those who have listened to some of the other episodes, we've been fortunate enough to have Sheena on, and she shared her journey. So we do know about inspiring success, and it was nice. It'll be nice to get you on to see your side of that journey
Absolutely.
and how you've kind of built that up into your repertoire, skill set. But
Yeah,
let's start at the beginning. Northamptonshire has always been home for you, right?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and you're still here. Did you always wanted to go into optometry? Was that your thing, or something you fell into? Family members?
So yes and no. So as you mentioned, family members, my sister's an optometrist as well. Because of that, I didn't want to do optometry. I kind of wanted to find my own journey, and I felt like I don't need to just follow in her footsteps. I want to be my own person. So initially, I really didn't want to do optometry, but I was actually, I don't know, I had my head screwed on. So I actually shadowed lots of different people, like dentistry and a few other professions. And I think optometry just ticked lots of boxes. It's quite sociable. You get to see people. There's a little bit of management. There's a little bit in terms of patient care. It felt like it ticked lots of boxes, and it just felt like the right thing to do. Yeah, and for me, best decision ever.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So where did you go to uni? Where did you do your degree?
Cardiff University. So again, I think you've had a few people, a
Yeah,
few.
Cardiff. Everyone's from Cardiff. A lot of people from Cardiff.
Yes, absolutely. So again, I changed a lot. So when I was younger, I was quite timid, quite quiet. I really kept to myself. But Cardiff University, I think it wasn't the studying that changed me. It was just everything else. I grew into that person. I completely changed. Um, so yeah, it was probably the making of me.
I mean, for those, I think for a lot of people, particularly if you move away from home and spend time not in your parents'
Yeah,
household all the time,
yeah,
it does, you see different things. You have to grow as a person
absolutely.
to cope,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
and things like that. And I think it is. I say this whenever I get the chance, is that if you get the chance to live away or live abroad,
yeah,
take it. And
absolutely.
even if you go for a year, do it,
Yeah, yeah,
because you really find out what kind of person you are,
yeah, yeah,
what works for you, what doesn't work for you,
yeah,
and fingers crossed, you can always go home.
yeah, yeah.
You
And you
know,
said there's different challenges, and you have to grow. You're literally in an environment where you're forced to grow, which is amazing, which is powerful, isn't it? So the living abroad is on my hit list at some point. That's what I'd love to do.
end up in Japan. You can take the girls, go get
Yeah,
Mennicon to ship you
yeah,
over to Japan,
yeah.
do a bit of time.
Working on it. I'm working on it. I drop
Yeah.
lots of hints.
While you're dropping hints, can you get them to take me to either their new factory in Malaysia, or visit Japan?
And you say that that's what I'm doing. So I'd love to take people over to the new factory because the videos feel like they don't do it justice. It genuinely looks amazing.
Yeah. All right. That's for me and you to have a conversation
Yeah,
about after.
yeah,
So, Cardiff, Wales, 3-year degree, and then pre-reg.
yeah. Pre-reg.
What was that journey?
Um, Pre-reg was great. I was just very lucky that I had great supervisors, did it in a great store. And I think that's where I started thinking outside of the box in optometry. So while I was doing my pre-reg, towards the end of it, I took on a role where I was organising the CPD or CET back in those days for Northamptonshire. So quite unusual for someone who's studying to then organise education for that whole area and that whole community. And I think it started opening doors straight away because I was actually speaking to the right people, and um, I think that's when I learned just to say yes to any opportunity and then work out how to do it afterwards.
So, how like when I was the pre-reg,
Yeah,
right? Even probably quite deep into my career, I had no real idea of LOCs and what they did and getting involved. I mean, even now, I'm very much on the fringes. Uh, So how did that come about? How did you get involved with the LOC?
so I went to an event, and again, it's quite unusual because a lot of these committees and a lot of these associations, they sometimes struggle for support. So I went to just a generic CET event, um, and it was actually Jonathan Bench who used to do a similar role, and he said at that event with someone else, said, "We're stepping down. Will anyone take over for next time?" And no one put their hand up. Again, I didn't really understand what it even meant, but I just said yes, not knowing what commitment that meant. But I just put myself forward straight away, and it was just that, just trying. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know the other side of it, but it's just opening that door to have a look.
Yeah, JB's got a lot to answer for. I think. I've interviewed you. Two or three other people who've been kind enough to come on the pod, including JP. Um, have um, have referenced him as a source of direction in their career, not necessarily di- you know direct, but even sort of kind of on the side where he may have said something or inspired something, and I really do like Jonathan. I've got a lot of time for him. He's a really good guy, a really really good guy.
Absolutely,
Um,
definitely, completely agree.
which is nice. So, and that pre-reg was VE or did
With,
you?
with Boots.
Okay.
So again, I probably back in the day, I think Boots was the kind of place to be for pre-reg. I actually applied everywhere, but very lucky. And as I said, my supervisors were amazing. I didn't have any rest. Every time I was on a lunch break, I was constantly getting grilled. It was tough, but I think that's what made me who I was. And it's funny because you also mentioned, Jonathan's mentioned things that have inspired people. I think that's the power that we have as people, is that you never know the influence you've had on someone because they're not going to directly tell you, but we do have that opportunity to inspire people.
Yep. No, I agree. That's a valid, very, very valid point. Um, then you did Boots, and then and why did you step away from Boots? Was that just career? You got bored, needed something different?
So they actually, at that time, they had a huge structural change in their company. So they actually made all of their, I don't know what the title was, but they're kind of like super duper optoms or regional optoms. They made them redundant. So we went through a structural change. Then I went to Specky's. I worked there for a year, but I worked hard. So I was working like 7 long days per week. And I was just learning the trade, and I was also just saving up to like, I got married quite young, so get married, have a house, and do all the kind of, again, responsible stuff. So I was just saving up. I was working solid. My aim was I was working solid, but on the side, I just learned the kind of ins and outs of optometry. I learned more in that 1 year after qualifying than probably my pre-reg.
And I think there is this, and weirdly, I said this earlier today. I think there is this misunderstanding that once you've done your degree, that's it.
But it's the complete
Your
opposite.
your your degree is just the kind of, let's just get you on the starting rung
Yeah. It's just a bit of
of the
paper, isn't it?
ladder. Yeah, and then the rest of your learning comes comes after that, after you've spent time doing the practical stuff, seeing people face to face,
And there's
kind of thing.
opportunities everywhere, and there's lots of different rungs everywhere. You just have to find it and open yourself to those opportunities. So I did probably do both. So I went to Specsavers, and then also quite early on in my career, I don't know if you remember, like WOPEC. One of the directors of WOPEC did a lecture somewhere, and I remember I was only qualified for a year at that stage, and I grabbed her afterwards and I said, if there's any opportunities, I'd be really interested. Again, it just sounded really interesting. And I think the following week, someone phoned in sick somewhere, and they phoned me up last minute. I just dropped what I was doing and attended, got some training, and then I was organizing. I think I was one of two lead assessors for WOPEC, like covering the country. So again, that was a kind of next stage of me kind of progressing and doing something different.
So, were you volunteering just out of sheer curiosity? Because that's what you've been doing. You've just been putting your hand up.
Yeah,
Or, and I've never asked you this before,
yeah.
or were you volunteering because something in your mind was going, I don't know if consulting room is where I want to be? As you know, after you've done a year of 7 days, because after I did my pre-reg, I didn't even get to the end. I got to the end of my pre-reg and I was like, dude, don't know if I can do this 5 days a week for the next 40 plus,
Yeah.
right? So is that what was kind of driving you, or was it just a kind of, "Oh, why not? Let's just give it a go," you
So
know?
it's probably neither. So I think I was just really at that stage. I was just really ambitious. I literally wanted the world. So I wanted to tackle everything, do everything, learn as much as I could. I didn't see any kind of barriers or boxes or anything else. I just wanted it all. So any opportunity or any opportunity for me to grow, I went for. I actually love testing. So I actually love seeing patients. Yeah, I genuinely do. So I like seeing patients. To me, it's like if you've got the time and opportunity, it feels like you're meeting someone. And patients get a bad reputation, but if you get to know them, people are amazing. So you actually get like every half an hour or something, I'm actually meeting someone new or catching up with someone new, and they're all coming to me. They're all coming to me, and we're coming from having a catch up. So I like seeing patients, and it wasn't just general curiosity in terms of, oh, wonder what this is. I didn't. I wanted, I wanted to be there. I wanted to experience that.
Yeah. That's that's nice. That's nice. I have days where I don't like seeing patients. It's just not. It's got nothing to do with the patients. I know
Yeah,
it's all me.
Yeah.
because I will walk in, I'm like, I don't want to do this today. But you do it and you do it and you, sorry?
You want to do another podcast?
Sometimes I don't want to do that. Sometimes I just want to sit and
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
TV. I just
yeah,
switch
yeah,
off.
yeah.
Um, but it's nice to hear that so do you miss that element of now you've got, because you're, in terms of your professional career, in terms of testing, we're not going to spend too much time on that because you've done so much outside of that, right? But do you miss there not being in a consulting room as much?
Again, I think I've just replaced it. So it wasn't. It's not that I miss it. I like talking to people and interacting with people. So I've just replaced it. So if we go to events, again, rather than seeing like 10, 15 people a day, I might see hundreds in a day. So as long as I have that interaction with people, I think that satisfies me. But as long as it's replaced with something else, I don't think I could literally just sit in front of the screen just all day. I like being out there and seeing people and talking to people.
That's right. So you're at, so when did you join VE? So you left Boots and then did Specsavers, then did VE?
Yeah. So we did Boots as a pre-reg, Specsavers for a year. Then while I was at Specsavers, I was locuming at an independent practice, but I was also half managing that independent practice because the manager left, but on a
Okay.
locum basis. So I did both of those jobs at the same time. Um, and then I left and then I joined VE. Um, but I joined VE with, again, an ambition to kind of progress and do some head office work as well, which I did, which I was very lucky.
So what did you do? How did that happen? Again, it's all about how it happened. What,
So
you know, were you approached? Did you put your hand up? How
hand
how
up,
did that come about?
so I probably emailed, contacted, I think even at that stage. So when I left Specsavers, again, I was only qualified for a yearish, but I actually contacted every single company and said, I want a head office role, whether you've got one or not. And I didn't look for actual vacancies. I just contacted everybody. Um, and then I spoke to someone at Vision Express and they said, oh, this looks great. Like, come on, work for us. They go, we haven't got anything specific in head office, but if there's any opportunities, we'll let you know. And the head of professional services at the time was someone called Amanda Danson, and she was amazing. So anytime there's any opportunity to do something a little bit extra, she invited me. So we actually introduced peer reviews as a CET then, before it was a thing. Um, so anything that was different, she just gave me an opportunity to give me that platform to any ideas I had, just to launch them.
And as you did it, a question that I asked Eddie this. So as you did it, were these guys supporting you in your education and development? Because a lot of this stuff was new, right? So it's not stuff we taught at optometry school. So it's new skill sets. Were they happy to develop you, or was it like, right, this is a role, but we need you just to take it on, and you were self-educating, self-learning? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm honest, I've, and I'm probably very different to Sheena. Sheena's at every course in the world, and I've probably not, in the sense that it's not like I went on specific training courses. My main way of learning was from other people. So, and I've been lucky. I've worked with lots of amazing people in my career. So every time someone's got a particular skill set, I love just watching them, seeing how they do things, and learning from them. That's been my main way of education. It's just from people. I don't think I've really done that many courses, if I'm honest with you. So there's good and bad parts to that, because sometimes you need to understand the foundations. But yeah, I learned on the job, but just from other people.
Okay. Yeah. And I learn better like that. I
Yeah.
learn better shadowing and watching. Again, with that personal interaction, I personally feel I do better like that than with a book. I mean, I can sit with a book. I don't particularly enjoy it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I can do it.
Yeah.
Um, and then what other roles did you do? I know you did. Because I know what you did. So you did the head office stuff. You did the CET stuff for VE, and then were you ever involved in pre-regis?
Yeah. So when I was VE, I just supported with pre-regis. When I left, I interviewed for a head office role. Again, I was only qualified when I left, I think, for like 2 years. And they kind of wanted to build me up to a specific role, but I got offered something with Test Opticians and Galaxy. So I thought, great opportunity. They're quite small. Let's join them. And that's when they didn't have a pre-reg scheme at the time. So while I was at Tesco Opticians, that's one of the things I got a little bit involved in. They had a great team there. I worked with some amazing people. Towards the pre-reg scheme, 1 year I actually did something with Alcon where I wrote the mock-off skis because they'd never had mock-off skis before. But I think that it started at Vision Express and then it kind of progressed while I was at Tesco Opticians, which actually got bought up by Vision Express in the end
Yeah,
anyway.
full circle.
Proper full circle.
Yeah, yeah, nice. So as you've mentioned that you met you and Sheena run Inspiring Success, and you guys obviously met at uni. Not obviously, not necessarily obvious to the audience, but you guys have met at university. And so then, when did you start to dip in to more of the outside optometry stuff, right? So obviously, there's Inspiring Success, as you've mentioned, which I'll let you explain it probably better than I wouldn't do it justice in terms of what are the goals of that organization. You've then got the app, which is new and actually wasn't even launched when I last spoke to you. So you've got the app, and so yeah. So when did that come about? What made you kind of step into that field in terms of well-being?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I met Sheena when she was at university. So she went through, and she may have explained it on one of your other sessions. So I'm not going
Yeah,
to
she did.
give you the same
Yeah, she
information.
was really open about it.
Yeah, but she went through. So when we first met, we didn't particularly get on. We were so different. I was probably quite out there. I was out a lot of the time, and we were just in different spaces and different headspaces. Um, but she went through an incredibly tough time. So even as you said, so you're somewhere new, you're learning lots of different things. So I supported her quite a lot, and I probably you see how it can make a difference to a person, but equally you see this when they get the right support. And I'd had no idea. I was like a 19-year-old, not knowing what the right support was. But when that person does get the right support, it doesn't just change their world. I think it just changes everything. Um, so it's really powerful, and I probably hadn't been exposed to that ever before, but before I met her. Um, and I probably didn't understand what people go through. And even day to day. So when you're constantly seeing patients, when you're constantly seeing people, you never know their backstory, and you'll never know it with her. It's only because things got quite serious that I got exposed to it. Um, and then it just opened up the world that people do struggle, people do find things hard, and we have then we're amazing. We're not a responsibility, but we have an opportunity to make the world a difference to them. And then it progressed, and her aim, because she was in such a dark place, and then she came out of it. Um, it felt like her life goal was just to people that were in the same position as her is just to support them, find a way of helping them. So she did lots of work outside of optometry. Um, and as you could tell, I'm a bit of a geek and I'm quite optom minded. So I kept on saying, like, we also have these people in optometry, let's bring it here. And I think we did some trial sessions. And again, it blew my mind when we did some trial sessions, because when we get together at conferences or anywhere, everyone's quite fun and bubbly and we all get along. But I probably I never saw like so many people that I know and I feel like they're just excelling at life. I never saw some of the kind of difficulties. And the first CPD session that we had people crying on them. We had other bits and pieces, and I thought, wow, we have a duty, we have an opportunity, we have the resources, we have to help our profession, we have to do something. And then after that, it exploded. So we did a couple of trial sessions, and then since that, so in the last 2.5 years, we're probably nearly hitting like 200 different sessions. We do like conferences. We bought an app because we felt like that's more accessible to everyone. And again, very different. There's communities on there, and people can look at their own well-being through like different data, like passive data through their phone and through watches. And we just wanted to put it all together and just do as much as we can.
Nice. I've seen the app. I'm subscribed to the app, and but I'm too lazy to fill it out on a day to day. So I've I'm on a bit. I'm trying to lose a bit of weight. So I'm on this health thing at the moment, and I'm filling out so many things, and I'm
Of
just like
course.
I'm just I'm meant to be stepping away from my screen, And I just go. But I think it's really it's such a nice thing to do. It's really honourable thing to do, and you're doing it with Kishan Devraj, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Who I've met Kishan a couple of times, and
Yes.
seems very very
Yeah.
smart young man.
Yeah.
And so how did that collab come out? Did you reach out to him? Did he reach out to you? Was it just kind of you bumped into each other and
So the first
sort of
time
made
we
it work?
met was actually, I don't know if you remember, we both went to Optician Awards and he was
Yep.
also there. So
Yeah,
we
he
didn't
won
really,
an award.
he won an award. So we didn't really have
Yeah.
any conversations then. But I think we've just had that mutual respect. So some of the stuff that he's put out, I really admired. So just his way of thinking is amazing. It's equally with the app. There's no way we would have just collabed with anybody. It genuinely had to be the right person. And I think lots of it fitted. Kitchen and actually Sheena had the initial conversations, and then I think it worked both ways in the sense that he really understands the technical side of things. And Sheena's more creative and she understands in terms of the supportive side of things. And it just completely fitted. Um, and like the most typical thing that we do is obviously we look at AI, and again, everyone's got a different opinion on it. But sometimes you think like people get addicted to it and feel like the AI knows me more than my friends or more than someone else. And that's a little bit with the app in the sense that you'll input some data, but it's there to support you. It should know you. It should give you the right tips. It will take some of that data that you've got, and it should support you on that journey. And we're there with like there's real people behind it in the sense that if you don't that, we were also there to support you on that journey as well. Um, so right people, right timing. The biggest thing we had the goals were completely aligned. We want to make a difference, and we feel like these are the right tools to make that difference.
Nice. That is really good. That's really inspiring in terms of, that's a big step. You're stepping from your, the four walls of your consulting room, um, into app development, app delivery, uh, lecture delivery, that kind of stuff. For the audience, when it comes to delivering content and creating content, did you train for it? Or was it just something that someone said, right, we need you to deliver content. Here we go. There you go, mate. Off you go, kind of thing.
So
How did you get into that?
So
And
I think probably similar to everybody in the sense that training. I don't even know if did anyone actually. No, they probably did ask probably Sheena first. So a lot of it was either they asked or we just created it and we kind of just gave it to people because we felt like there's a need for it. In terms of creating it, no training at all, and that's why it also works because it's different. I think if you train it like you don't understand there's so much content, there's so much education, there's so much training that I think it's a bit more authentic if it's probably not trained in things because it's so different. But yeah, like all the other bits, just learning on the job and maybe learning from other people.
yeah. So how do you manage to keep it all going, mate? How do you keep all the balls in the air? You obviously have your full-time job with Mennicon, and then you do the Inspire Success stuff, and now you've got an app. Every once in a while you have a live webinar with Ross, more dedicated to kind of the male perspective
Yeah,
in terms of well-being, because we're stubborn pricks,
yeah.
and we don't like talking for the most part, and you take time out to give that delivery, um to men, dedicated, more male oriented. So how do you find the time to get it all done?
So the biggest thing is probably structure. So sometimes when you see me, it might feel a bit like out there, but there is a structure. So really regularly, I'll look at my like life goals, normal goals. It has to be quite strategic planning in the sense that everything that I'm doing, there has to be a point to it. But just planning and structure makes the world a difference. Every single day, I have goals. So every single day, I have goals that I need to achieve. Um, and then like micro goals, and then I'll have goals that I need to achieve by the end of the week and the end of the month, and um, it's just extremely structured, and I think that's what makes a difference. And I'm the kind of person where I can't do all of them at once. I'm literally just focused on one thing, and I'll give it my all, and then when I'm doing something else. So for example, if I'm with the kids, I'm not actually thinking about anything else. I'm literally just 100% to the kids. I'm quite mindful. If I'm working on like Mantle. That's literally all I'm thinking about. So really structured, and whatever I'm doing, that one project has 100% of me.
That's I wish I could achieve that. I
You say
can't.
that, but you're the same.
Yeah, but I can't achieve that 100% focus. There's something in my head that I can't do. So like even so when I studied, so I'm not a good studier. Okay, I do okay. I'm not good. I'm probably better at taking exams than I am at studying, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But
You're the
even,
most specific person I know, but yeah.
as I, as I sit, I like if I'm studying, the TV has to be on and something has to be on in the background. If something else pops up in the middle of my studying, I'm the kind of guy who'll look up and go, oh, let me go and do that kind of thing. New shiny thing. So it, yeah, I've my wife Sage is really good at like she'll sit down, she'll make a plan, she'll set a time goal, and she will sit and she will do it. And I have a lot of admiration for those people because I just don't know how people do it. I can't. My head is just wired in a weird way.
The only thing that helps me with that, so if I put it on paper and put it somewhere else, I know it will get it done at another time. So it's not at the back of my mind. So if I've got something that needs to be done, what normally happens is that your mind saying, "Oh, I really need to do that at some point." And when you do something else, that's still in your mind. If I write it down and park it, and I know I'm going to pick it up, then that's what helps me give me focus.
Yeah, I've started to do to-do lists, but I thought that's more because I'm old and I'm forgetting stuff now. I just can't remember. Like, I need to order someone's lenses. Did you order the lenses? No, no. Damn it. To-do list. And blame the manufacturer. Oh, they're the issue. They're the issue.
Thanks.
Dude, we flew through that, man. That's like 30 minutes
Yeah.
gone in no time at all. What, two questions. Of all of the things that you do at the moment, right? All of your hats. Do you have a favorite or not really? You kind of, it depends on the day. Some days you prefer doing A, some days you prefer doing B.
Um, so to me, it's probably not what hat I'm wearing is what I do. So the biggest single purpose behind me is making a difference. So, and that's why I do my J job. That's why I work for Mennicon, and that's why we do the side stuff with Inspiring Success. So the biggest single thing, if I'm making a difference, it's great. If I feel like I'm not, that's what probably makes it harder. So even if I'm working on a project and it's not ticking the boxes and it's not actually making a difference, that's what I find hard. So it's probably not the role; it's more the goal. That's the biggest single thing that makes a difference to me. As long as I'm making a difference.
Right. That's a good way to look at life is, that's a positive way to look at life and look at goals. Last question, and then I'm going to let you go because you've probably got 4 or 5 pieces of paper sitting there shouting at you with things to do. But so to an up and coming optometry professional, because we're both optometrists, what do you have like a single piece of advice that you would give them in terms of how to be happy? Let's say how to be happy.
Yeah. So probably the one thing I always kind of my mantra and one of my favorite sayings is, one person may not be able to change the world, but you can change the world for that one person. And I think especially if a lot of people are in practice, that's what I would always feel like. So as you said, it might be hard. You feel like, oh, I've got another 10 patients to see. But equally, you then have got ten opportunities to make a difference to that person. And as I said, with a lot of the work that we do, and we've said that lots of people are struggling, I'm very fortunate in the sense that I haven't struggled myself. But when I've seen like some of the dark stories behind it, people do. You just don't see it, um, and you won't know the difference you've made to someone. But you do have that opportunity. So if you're in practice, you can make a difference to every single one of your patients. you you've got like 10, 15 patients that you can make a difference to. If you do roles that I am when I'm out and about, it's the same thing. Um, and we can make a difference, not just in in ocular health and in eye care. We can actually make a difference to that person's day, that month, that year, all of those things. Um, and it's quite powerful having that opportunity. So I think, and I know it feels probably quite positive and it may feel a bit cliche. You think like, oh my God, some days I just like can't be bothered. And you're always going to have days like that, but you do have the opportunity. that person might not be able to be bothered that day, but you can change it.
Yep. No, totally agree. Totally agree. And that is a beautiful way to end. Lovely message. So I would like to thank you for taking the time again. And this time it will record properly. We'll make sure it's all updated, uploaded. And cheers, mate. I really appreciate you taking the time. And hopefully we will cross paths soon.
Not at a
And
conference, or not something optometry related. We'll go for lunch anyway.
outside of
Yeah.
optometry, that would be fantastic. So thank you very much. And fingers crossed, see you soon. Take care.
Oh, cheers. Thank you. Thanks.